No knock to some of y'all mamas, but you playing savior to a woman that may be wild as. Your mama might be single for a f***ing reason.
But there is something about even how young women now, they raise their sons up to kind of be like the replacement if the father was no longer there. So yeah, just your thoughts in that whole space of like the black son and the black mother relationship. Are we people pleasing our mothers too much as black men?
I
Or
think
yeah,
that's delicate, right? Delicate not in that I don't want to offend anybody, delicate in that it's a lot of layers.
yes.
Um, the layer that I would like to acknowledge first is that in a lot of households, black children have had to put in earlier than other households. Is to say that like in lower income households, eventually you do become a burden.
Hmm.
And so you may be expected to get a job,
Right.
especially a young man. I want to acknowledge also that what society teaches boys very early is that a man is supposed to have a plan.
Mm.
A man is supposed to be able to make a way. A man is supposed to be able to provide.
Hmm.
Um, Especially when a young boy start to go through puberty, right? Where if a man was in the house, this is where a man would start to help him sculpt his man. You know, your hormones raging.
Right.
You kind of need to
A guide.
have exactly, because what happens in a lot of single mother households is that he end up challenging his mom,
Right.
right? Well, because his hormones are raging, his testosterone, he trying to. That's
Yeah.
where he's
Yeah.
supposed to be learning to yield to authority. Where some boys choose to step in and be the savior. Where now he's smelling himself and he feel like he grown. Where normally, again, this would be where your father come in and guide that, steer that, help refine that. Where you trying to challenge authority, this is where you will healthily challenge your father, and your father will healthily bear down on you and show you how to yield to authority as well as develop
Right.
your own leadership. You know what I mean? So I say all of that contextually to say, yes, there are some mothers who are attempting to raise a man of the house
Hmm.
from boyhood.
Hmm.
I do believe there are a pocket. I'm not going to say the majority.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's unfair, but I believe there are a pocket who romanticize the relationship between
Hmm.
mothers and sons and
Hmm.
try to make him best friend, try to make him
Hmm.
king of the house and things like that. I've seen the posts.
Right.
Hell,
Right.
I've seen some of it from peers of mine, um, and I think it's completely unhealthy. You know, I think that anytime adults make adults of children, it's unhealthy.
Mm.
So
Because the other part that I saw is like when you eventually, if people that are watching this, they'll get a wife, or men that are watching get a wife, there's that whole conversation of if you driving and you got to pick between your mama and your wife sitting in the car, some of the guys is choosing moms.
which is crazy,
I'm glad you said that.
which is
And it's
crazy.
not a knock on moms. I think my mom is solid enough. She knows, like, no, that's your lady. Like, I'm good. I'm back here. But some brothers are really like, there's something there that needs to be maybe unpacked.
It's the safe. It's so your initial question was on about black men, not about black motherhood.
Hmm.
I think yes, some of us are people pleasing towards our mothers
Because it
too
can get a
much
little ridiculous.
because we're attempting to play savior.
Okay.
I think a lot of black boys are now dressed up as black men, and that's not to knock them. It's to say that we all have been hurt. We all
Hmm.
been affected by our childhood in some capacity, and some of it we just don't address because it's normal, because it's comfortable.
Hmm.
Having to show up for your mama in that capacity is not normal.
Because it's supposed to be a man there doing that.
I ain't gonna say suppose, but you wasn't supposed to be doing it. You ain't her man. I know that. That's a fact. I can't say it's supposed to be a goddamn thing going on. That's your mama. Your mama might be goddamn crazy. But ain't that the point though? Is that now you playing savior to a woman that No knock to some of y'all mamas, but you playing savior to a woman that may be wild as fuck. Your mama might be single for a fucking reason.
Mm.
But now you've learned to rationalize certain behavior. You learn to tolerate certain behavior. And you carry that out into the romantic arena. And now you try to make that shit women's fault.
Mm.
That you trying to play hero, which you not one.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, your mom's still crazy. You have not loved your mom into being into a relationship, my nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you not about to hero and cape one of these women into a relationship who may not be for you or may not be shit.